during the press conference, and the locker room for the Aggies is now open. All right, we're joined now by the North Carolina A&T Aggies head coach, Terrell Robinson, student athletes Chantel Bostic and Kayla Green. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
All right, just congratulations to Coach Staley and the Lady Gamecocks for advancing to the second round. I just thought my young ladies didn't get settled in early enough. First quarter, giving up 26 points to our 11. We didn't follow our game plan until the second half. But I'm proud of them, as I've said all year. They've left it out there on the court, when it was all said and done. And, I just hope that, how Kayla Green, showed up and played, and I just hope our young kids use this experience, for the future of this program.
Open it up for questions for the student athletes at this time. If you would, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Start here on the left.
Hey guys, Don Meduli, ESPN's The Undefeated. What was said at halftime to make you guys come out and play with that much fire?
It was more that what we do is good enough and we need to stick to our principles. We weren't being disciplined on defense, and that's something that we pride ourselves in. So we knew we had to pick it up on defense, and the more pressure that we put on them, they would turn the ball over or have mishaps happen on offense, and it led to our transition, which is something that's key to us. So it's really just pick it up on defense and then execute on offense.
Go here in front, Greg.
For any of you guys, what do you chalk up that early run to? Is it just is Coach talking about not being settled in? How do you fix that, and what was the problem there?
Personally, I was trying to let everybody know that you're going to be nervous, but you have to accept the fact that you're nervous and still play through that, because I feel like a lot of them were nervous but didn't want to admit it, and they got on the court and it was like, whoa. And so they had to settle down a little bit, but I think it's just because we were a little young and they were new to this.
Go back to the left.
So for me, I just think we were just hype about the game, honestly. We just had to settle down and play our game.
Let's go back to the left.
As an HBCU and a mid-major school, what does this experience do for you guys moving forward, especially as a team and your program moving forward?
For me, returning next year, I think it's a big step for us because we played a good game. So coming into next season, I believe we're going to be focused and advance next year.
Leaving the program, I feel like we've set the bar, letting them know that we can do this, we can get here, and what we do is good enough, and that we can dominate the MEAC and come here and compete with these other schools just as well as we compete with our conference.
Any other questions for the student athletes? If not, you guys can go back to the locker room. Congratulations.
Where's Tom?
We'll open it up for questions for Coach Robinson. Again, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. David with the first one.
Coach, what was it that your defense was doing that was really making it hard for South Carolina to pass the ball around?
Well, our principles are, the expectations, one pass away, you're in full deny, and we drill that stuff from the moment we get on campus when we have our kids doing the summer up until now, so, it's kind of embedded in them. And, we changed our strategy as far as defending the post. We didn't do it consistently enough, double from the passer, to try to disrupt them. We wanted Ms. Wilson to put the ball on the floor and kind of poke at the ball. But, I'm proud of my team, them settling down in the second quarter. Second half, again, I thought the first quarter we dug a hole for ourselves, and I don't think it was a thing of hypeness, as Ms. Bostic said. We wanted to force transition. We wanted to speed them up. We wanted to score quick because we knew that if they got into a half-court set with their length, they were going to disrupt us as far as running our offense.
Stay there on the left. Go ahead.
Coach, what exactly was said? How did you get your team to settle in there for the second half? Because, like I said earlier, they played with so much more fire and more passion that second half. What exactly was said, or how did you settle the girls down?
Well, I just asked them, what does it take to get you all, to understand? Because even, the halftime score, what was it, 14, 16 points, I think. The game was still in reach, and we've been down in situations like that during the season and been able to, come back. Like, it's embedded in them that the second half is our best half, that we respond during that. And that's, what I talked to them about. Kayla was playing well, so I decided to start her versus Secoria Ford. I thought her nerves were a little shot, and Kayla, being a senior, had been here before. She was performing at a high level. So, yeah, I mean, we're 23-8. Right now we've, won our last 19 of our last 21 games. So, we've been in this situation before, so it doesn't really take a whole lot to get them going. It's just getting them to believe that what we always say from day one, that what we do is good enough against anybody.
Go in the middle, Greg.
Coach, you're able to get it as low as 7 with 3.5 basically
Was
to
it
go.
7? I thought it was 8. It was 7?
Yeah, you got it to 7.
You got me even madder now.
And then, a few chances to get it within a 2-possession game. What is those moments when you start to think about them now, knowing the offseason's ahead of you? What will that be like? But then what will it be like to be able to rally the troops and get ready to go for the next year?
Oh, man, this game in itself, you heard Chantel, we don't have to rally. I mean, yesterday it was, more of a David and Goliath and how you guys going to do it. And, just insinuating that we were going to not put up a fight and the game was going to be over. And so that in itself, the score in itself is going to, really set a fire to these young women. But as far as, that situation, the 7-point lead, and I remember we were coming out of timeout, just execution, valuing the ball, knowing that when someone, takes one thing from you, you got to know the other part of your offense, and that's not what happened, from everybody, not just the starters, but the people coming off the bench. Just more of a focus and being more engaged, not caught up in the moment, and sometimes that happens with young people.
Go one more there on the left. Go ahead.
So, Coach, how would you, playing against the defending national champions, how would you gauge your program, preferably against the best, and what are the next steps moving forward for your program as a HBCU to compete on a level like this all the time?
Well, this is just one game. And, one game in terms of South Carolina, you don't have a lot of time to prepare, and I'm sure when they watch film, like our league doesn't play us man-to-man. I'm sure they was like, oh, man, all they're doing is running zone stuff, so he probably only got a couple of our man sets. So if you can't really game plan for that, you can more so do a personnel standpoint. Like the next time we play them, if we played them again, I'm sure they'd be even more prepared for it. So this is just one game. In terms of our program, like we're HBCU by tradition. We're a Division I program. We have Division I players. We prepare no different than the Gamecocks. So I don't really get caught up in that. I think our tradition is great, but in terms of us going about our business, we go about it no different than anybody else. And for our young women, as I was telling him, this is just, just going to have them believe more in our culture and the things that we pride ourselves in every day.
Any other questions for Coach Robinson? Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Great job.